How to swap starter on 2007 style Honda CRV in less than 1 hour. From the bottom, without removal of any intake and such. Not terrible. Just need a few specific tools. First off, we will disconnect both legs of the battery and leave the hood open for better light. These are the tools that I used. Not saying you'd need all of them, but they all came in handy. First off, jack it up, secure it really well. Second off, remove lower plastic below front valance. Then we get into here and we'll remove 2 bolts that hold this bracket in place just to make things easier on us. Get the bracket out of the way and disconnect the plug that is hooked into the back of the starter. Then remove this 17mm starter bolt. Unplug the plug for the sensor back here, knock sensor, oil sending. I think it's knock sensor. Not sure which sensor that is, but remove that plug. Didn't need to remove the sensor. Then with a deep socket and a small enough headed ratchet, you can get into behind the starter to access the bolt that goes up here, which is a 14mm, and it's on a long shaft, so the head of the bolt sits out here. You slide that into place over the bolt, and your ratchet's hooked up with just barely enough clearance around the starter to crank it. Not easy to break free. I needed to use a pry bar on it to pop it loose, then it ratcheted free real easily. Then I switched to a smaller socket and ratchet so I could get more spinning room when it was loose, and loosened up that bolt, pulled it out, then twisted the starter as much as I needed to access this plug, which is a squeeze with one hand and wiggle it off of its clip on the starter, this end. Then there's enough slack in the wires here so that I was able to wiggle the starter out, and it needs to back out of this hole. It needs to back out of the starter hole that way and twist, pull. It's a little bit of a puzzle to get it worked out, but you can get the starter dropped down to this location right here and then undo the power wire with a 12mm. After that, installation is reverse.